Good morning, Alecia.
Good morning, Genevieve.
So I'm so excited to resume with our podcast. It's been a while.
It has, it has. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing good. It's a great
Great.
day to get started again.
Exactly. It's a great day. Like every
Mhm.
day is a new beginning, is a new chance to resume with something that was good or to try something new. But like every day is a new opportunity to do
Absolutely.
to make it unforgettable. So let's do that for today.
Yes.
This is our first episode of a new series that we wanted to start. Right, the power of mindset.
Yes.
And as we saw it on our screen, I do believe that mindset is everything.
Absolutely.
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 Mindset is everything. So I think that you have a very interesting stories to start with this topic.
I do. Welcome everyone. And what I wanted to share to start our podcast is a very powerful story, and it proves how great the mind is, and how important it is to focus on our mindset. So this story, I am going to be paraphrasing it, but it is the story of uh, Thomas Edison. When he was a young child, the story goes, he was sent home with a letter from his teacher, and the letter to give to his mom. And when his mom read the letter, inside the letter it said, you know, your son is basically dumb. Just keep him home. And mom read that letter, and when Thomas Edison asked her, "What did this letter say?" his mom repeated, "You know what? You are such a smart child. Your teacher says I should keep you home and teach you." And that story he never heard. He never read that letter. He never read that letter until his mom died. And we know the end of Thomas Edison's story. So what it is that is trying to say to us is the mind is such a great thing, because imagine if that was reversed and his mom had said something to him. Maybe we wouldn't know what his outcome would be. So I think it's a great story
It is.
to
It
start
is.
our podcast out with, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. And we'll be back in a while in for the Thomas Edison story. I know that maybe some people know the stories, maybe some other know the stories, but don't know that it was Thomas Edison who is actually the creator of the light bulb. And it's
Absolutely.
interesting, like this image, like this symbolize actually the good idea, the right mindset.
Mhm.
So whenever we see this, like this symbol of light bulb, what we just think about is a bright mind. It's a bright
Exactly.
idea. It's a good idea. It's a positive mindset. So he did not just create, something which is useful for our everyday life. He created actually a symbol
A
of,
symbol. Absolutely.
of what he is,
Hmm.
right? What
Hmm.
he was, if I can say it like that. And it's very, very interesting. Like sometimes our purpose, goes really beyond just what we do, but really, uh, you know, it's it's a
Absolutely.
it's a story of who we are called to be, and it is. But um, before we go deeper in these stories of mindset, uh, do you remember how do we decided to come to this topic of mindset? Why do we wanted to start with mindset? We're Coach Reich, and we worked with so many people and topics, but we decided in a very interesting conversation that we wanted to resume to our podcast with the topic of mindset. Do you remember why?
If we're on the same page, I believe
Yeah.
we went to one of your workshops, about where you were coaching, and we talked about like the mindset, and just opening up that topic again of mindset, because we realize that most people, to become better, want to people
Mm,
do want to work on themselves and to become better human being, but it starts with our mindsets. And I don't know if that's where we did it from. We've had so many conversations around it in the past little while, so I kind of, that's as far as I can remember us coming up with the idea of doing this podcast, because we do realize how much it benefits others when they work
yeah.
on mindset.
Yeah, I think it started
Mhm.
there because when we were preparing this session where you were the special guest and talking
Yeah.
about mindset with some professionals and entrepreneurs in my network, we just realized we just come to this uh, fact that actually mindset is what separates the good from the best, like
Mhm.
or if I can say the best from the rest actually.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
uh,
And
that was so obvious for us, like to start with, to resume, in talking about mindset, and we
yeah,
come.
and I think one of the things is, yes, we hear a lot about mindset, but
Mm,
sometimes it just sounds like, it just becomes like, oh, mindset is just words. Like, why we're doing this is we want to share actual things that we do to work on our mindsets. So we don't just want to talk about mindset. What can people do to work? How do we do our daily work on mindset? Because mindset is not just a one and done. Like,
yeah,
even,
it's not a trendy word, like just
no,
like
it's not.
everybody talks about
It
mindset. Yeah,
exactly.
it's
It's
not
some.
it's not just a trendy word or just a modern concept,
Mhm.
because Thomas Edison is a very, like, if I can say it, it's
he
an
he
old story, right?
Oh,
So,
absolutely. He over almost 200 years ago is when
oh,
he created the light bulb. And within him, he got his mom, who had that mindset that I want to teach my son who to be a great person, not
mhm,
because somebody else said something about it. So she had the mindset to help him accomplish something. Like,
exactly.
so it's always been around, and it just, we're in a place where we need to focus more on that than,
Yeah.
everything else external. We're so much more externalized now that we don't realize that it's within us that the power is, and the power is our mindset, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Like the mindset this mom had.
Hmm.
Actually, I can say that it started there. So she had the mindset of not taking the, if I can
Something
say, the
external.
note,
Hmm.
exactly, the note of failure, just like a reality. She didn't take it like that. You know, she had a strong belief in who her son was and
Hmm.
what he could achieve. Like she believed in the potential of this child,
Yeah.
and I guess she worked on him, to instill in him also this mindset, because he only like discovered the truth when her mom
Yeah.
passed. And I,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I guess he had realized many other things in his life that brought him to this point where he would be a so persistent, you know, researcher, so that to make this amazing, amazing discovery. So it
Hmm.
started with maybe leaders, you know, guardians, like parents, you know, and we
Absolutely.
need we need to have this person, and we need to be those person with this kind of mindset to instill to the future generation something positive.
Absolutely. One of my core mindset is that I've developed over the past little while is, you, and I've said this to you, you only need one person to believe in you 100%. you know,
Mm,
and
mm,
you have that one person, and that person knows that you've got them. They can move mountains, as they say,
mm,
because you just have to know that, you know what, even if I fail, this person will still be there. And
mm.
that is a strong mindset to have, to know that,
It is.
yeah, no matter what,
It
I
is.
have this person, and that person can help, you can help to build that person's mindset as well.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started my journey in the US, I understood that I couldn't make it alone, and I had to find the good network. I had to find the good network, but it was hard,
Of
like
course.
because there was so many adjustments, like language, uh, mindset,
But
because
as
yeah,
you
because people,
re-
think
yeah.
differently, act differently. And I
Mhm.
was like, okay, so what do I have to do? The first thing that I had to overcome was the language barrier.
Mhm.
How, like when you are just like me, a kind of perfectionist on some things, I would like, I don't want to go outside, and people would say, oh, she had a French accent, or she this and this. But then I just decided to do, maybe to apply. I don't know, maybe that was his core belief, that to believe that, just go with the idea that yes, I will probably, fail or mess it up the first time, but this is how I will get better. And I just decided to jump into whatever uh, involved conversation, sharing groups with anybody. And then I I actually find some people who believed in me. They saw that there was something more than the barrier of the language behind, and they helped me actually get confidence on expressing my thought, my idea, and my, to like to express the potential that was in me. And this is what actually helped me become
Yeah.
more confidence in, sharing my thoughts, sharing many things like online, and starting podcast with people. And i I embrace the fact that I was not a English native, and I could make some mistake. But what was important is that I had to share what was in my mind, what the Lord put in my mind, in my heart, because I believe that
Absolutely.
it had valued, and I will, at the end of the day, find the right way, and I keep doing it, and I keep doing it. It was embarrassing sometimes, but I think that I reached the point where, even though I can still make, some mistake in my English expression, but I believe that now I share more confidently the passion that is inside of me. And I believe that this can help somebody, like just develop this mindset of embrace failure.
Yeah.
Like, if you really think that what you have to say, just like John Maxwell say, we all have a message, and this message can be, you know, the life-changing starting point for someone. So why would you keep
Absolutely.
it just because
Absolutely.
you are afraid of being judged, and, of failing? And yeah, I think that's I think that we all have in our lives a story where mindset have made the difference. I don't know if you, I know that you have a tons of them, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And as you were speaking, I was thinking you had the mindset, and once you get yourself into that mindset, you attract the things that you need, because energetically you start feeling. And that's the important thing about mindset. It's not just in your mind, it's like you start attracting those type of things that you feel once you set that mindset. You had that mindset that, you know what, I'm not going to let this one barrier hold me back from the passion that I feel inside. I'm going to go out.
Yes.
And that is a mindset in itself. Like,
Mm,
I'm going to go out, I'm going to reach out. And even if I stumble a few times, I'm still going to continue to do that.
mm,
We all have that thing inside us that we want to share. Like, I
mm,
want to share my journey. And that's why we come together, because I was in a place where I felt stuck. I felt like
mm,
I had so much more to share, but I didn't know how to share it. And one of the things is we look at the external world and we think we need to be perfect. But no
Mm.
one is perfect. No one, we can't be perfect. To share a
Oh, I love
message,
it.
we feel like we need to be perfect to share the message. But the message that we have to share doesn't need perfection. It just needs to be shared, right?
Oh,
And
I love it.
I was talking to someone before and they're like, we now have this thing called the World Wide Web. And they were like, but I don't want to make a mistake, because when I make a mistake, it's going to end up on the web, right? And everybody is
Right.
going to see it. Like us doing this right now,
Exactly.
everybody is going to see it.
You see
But
it.
it's
Oh my.
okay, because we are creating this message for select group of people who need it and who will
Mm-hmm.
get value from it. Yes, it'll be out there for everyone to see, but it is really for those who need to embrace mindset and what it can do for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, it's
Yeah,
okay.
I believe. What you said is interesting. It's funny, it's interesting, but it's so true, right?
Hmm.
Because I think that sometimes mindset actually just needs the action of someone, just like
Hmm.
what we're doing right now. Just what you
Yeah,
say, like what we're doing will be on the web, like everybody will see it, and you will be like, people will listen. It's okay. Like, I had the choice to remove my first videos from my YouTube channel, but I just decided to let it there because for me it was a reminder that I have progressed, that I have evolved from
exactly.
this
True.
stage where I was like counting the word that I used to say. I was very mindful about my
Yeah,
pronunciation, and I do still believe that I had an awful pronunciation. But you know what? It was my beginning, and it's interesting because what the image we just have here of Thomas Edison saying that I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 ways
absolutely.
on
And
work.
before you go any further, Genevieve, I think your accent is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And I would love you to continue with your accent as you go along. May it never change. And I'll tell you a story. Another
Uh-huh.
story that I heard. I don't know if you know Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a
Yeah, like
famous
the
actor.
actor,
he
bodybuilder.
he has an accent, and as he lived in the US, it started to this is a story I heard, it started to like change to a more
Uh-huh.
American accent. So now he
Okay.
had to train, because that was his trademark. His accent was his
Yeah.
trademark, so he had to train to keep his accent.
Keep my French accents, right?
You have a
That's funny.
beautiful accent, so I don't think you should worry about your accent. It's the message. You were meant to present your message with this accent, and that's okay.
But that's exactly what you just said, like a minute ago. You say that the environment, society, like tend to shape us in a way that we think that if we don't do like everybody, we are failing or something is
Yeah.
lacking to us. So that's actually, well, with the accent is another thing. Like I do believe that when you are soaked in an environment, your brain is became to be wired like to copy naturally, like, because, but actually it's true. It's because the reflection of others, like we think we have this belief that if we don't do the things like other people around us, that something is maybe missing, and many people are afraid to fail,
Hmm.
and they said
Absolutely.
no, I don't
Absolutely.
want to face I cannot take it like to be ridiculous. I don't I don't want it to face to be funny and all this stuff, but
Yeah.
actually all different ways to uh to get you closer,
Hmm.
good
And
one.
these are, so what one of the things that you were just saying is some of the topic that we're going to be discussing around a fixed mindset.
Mm,
um, and it's where we think things and we think things has to be that way, and
mm,
that's
mm,
where the fixed mindset is. So,
Yes.
eventually we're going to talk about that. But today we just wanted to open with the power of mindset and how that can create you, or it can break you if you are
Mm,
going in a negative direction, right?
yep, definitely. So today, what could be our takeaways? Because many people maybe will listen to this podcast with different ears. Some will just see two women, right,
Yeah.
discussing an
Well,
interesting topic.
I,
But some
I,
other
yeah, I
will
think,
actually see where we came from and what we are doing, because what we just talked about is that how many people are stuck, just like you said, how many people are stuck because of what they think. And being a Christian, and I know that you are too, even the Bible, I mean, even God, because I do believe that the Bible is the word of God, even God says that how we think is how we are. So
I
this
think,
reinforced
I
me
think,
in this idea of how mindset is matters, right? It matters, and just like uh, you have to. Some people need, this one person who believed in them to help them, move forward. Some other will need just to hear maybe this podcast, so that they can start, this shifting journey of their mindset, because it's a process. Like it did not change in a day, right? But how many people actually, I think, that needs to just pause and think about the mind, what mindset really, how mindset shapes the outcomes in their lives,
mhm.
right? And today, as you said, is just an introduction, and I love this introduction, how we bring it to the table, by the way. And yeah, the next episode, maybe we will dive into what is the fixed mindset, the growth mindset, how we can describe actions, and yeah, belief from these two basic mindset. By the way, I think that we can identify many kind of mindset. I have something that showed like around 8 type of mindset, but we're gonna dive deeper into it next time. But
Mhm.
today, what can be our our takeaways for those who will listen to this podcast?
What I think our main takeaway for the podcast is just everything starts with mindset. And I think every single thing that we do, um, each day, the minute we wake up, how we want our day to be, from what we want to create in life, starts
Mhm.
with our mindset.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that, yes, you get up and you're like, I want to have a wonderful day, that you're going to have a wonderful day. It just means that how you react to your day is going to be different once you say to yourself, I want to have a great day,
Hmm.
because you take each moment and you look at it deeper to say, is this what my great day should look like? And we're humans, so there are times when we're going to not have a perfect day, but
Hmm.
then the mindset reminds us that that's what we're working on. And like we said, it's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight, but I think everything starts with our mindset.
Yeah. Everything starts with the mindset. I believe that, and I will, like, for my takeaway, it will be also to add that uh, the mindset is what separates, as I say, the like stuff. I believe that it separates the good from the best, because some people are doing good and they just wanted to stop there. Some other aiming are aiming the best, and
Hmm.
it's also what separates the best from the rest. It's
Absolutely.
truly the mindset. And maybe some people will ask her, yes, okay, all the things that you're saying here is really nice, but how do I can fix my mindset? Maybe in the next episode, some will identify clearly, you know,
Absolutely.
and what are their current mindset, because I think that it do evolve. Like you can be in some season of life that you really in a kind of fixed mindset, and in some other season where you are in a kind of growth mindset. So we're going to talk about it next time. But maybe some people may ask, okay, what you say are very nice, but how can I move from this one to other one? So I will invite them to share their thoughts and their question in the comments of this video. And yeah, we will be very glad and pleased to get back to you if you leave your contact so we can have this discussion one on one. Why not? All right. You can have it on Coach Alicia's YouTube channel description and mine's too, that you will have in the description of this video. So yeah, that's
Yes,
definitely my takeaway. Mindset is everything. Mindset shapes our outcomes and separate the best from the rest. So if you want to be in the best part, it's not like just like two buckets that you have to jump from this one. Not there's a process, there's a journey which is very important that we can discuss
absolutely.
with you the next time. So that was a pleasure to share this time with
Yeah.
you,
and
Alicia.
and absolutely, and we will share where we're I know we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah,
YouTube, and so we're going to share all this information in the link below, so that if you guys want to discuss further,
yeah,
on a one-to-one or in a group, like, we can do
definitely.
that. And but we definitely are excited to continue with this podcast series on mindset.
Yeah.
And yes, we look forward to sharing more with you and to hear from you, all the feedback and what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah. So thank you guys and see you soon, Coach Alicia.
Blessings and gratitude. Bless.